This video was made possible with the help of Game Toppers. Upgrade your gaming experience with a Game Topper.
Hello chaps and chapettes, welcome to this video where I'm going to be talking about Dice Manor and kind of do like a before you buy video. Explain some of the rules and basically talk about some of my ideas of how I think it goes and how it works, what the feeling has been at the table, and just general thoughts about the game as a general. So, what is this game about? Well, basically, players are going to be building a manor. And they're going to be doing this by rolling dice, which then turn into workers, which they can use to bid for blueprints for rooms. They can also use it to get a lot of advertising done, which will give them points and also probably unlock some extra dice, which they can use in the next round. And they can also use these dice as workers to do tours of their constructed manor to get points as well. So, any of you familiar with the game of Vegas or Vegas Showdown, where you roll dice and you bid on different rooms and try to get the money from those rooms? This game may feel and sound similar. It's pretty much the same thing. You're going to be rolling all the dice that you have, and then you're going to match up all the numbers which have the same values. So here, for example, I have 2 1s, a 2, 2 3s, a 4 and a 5. And then you decide which of those values you wish to use this round. So you may wish to use like the lonesome 4, or you may wish to use the pair of 3s. This basically gives you 1 action or 2 actions for your turn. And with these actions, you can use them on one of the 3 different areas. First round, you're not going to be doing the tour, basically because you have no mana apart from your starting tile, which is your starting room. You could put one there and get yourself an inspiration token. Now, an inspiration token, it gives you a chance to either re-roll a majority of your dice or just change the value of one of your dice by 1 pip, either up or down. So let's talk about the blueprints. Now, there are 6 different types of room in the game, different sizes, different colors. They have different values inside the room, which will tie into the tours. And they may have doors in different places as well, which is important for when you're actually at the end of each round, you're adding the new blueprints that you've had to your manor, and you need to make sure that doors connect to each other and doors don't go to walls. Each room can be bid at with a particular value of dice. For example, the TV rooms come under 1. So if you want a TV room, you're going to have to roll 1s to bid for it. And what's going to happen is the player that has the most of the 1s at the end of the round on that room is going to win that room. Now, if there's a tie, it's always the first player that has added the number of dice. So, for example, if I add my 2 1s to the TV room, if someone else later on adds 2 1s, I still am going to win that room, which is fair and square. But then again, it adds that potential of maybe they will roll a 1 later on, and then they will have 3 1s. In that case, I will become second prize, and they will become first prize, and they will win that room at the end. And then again, I would have to then have 4 1s to win that room back. So you're going to be using your dice to your best of your ability and trying to gauge whether you want to risk using a lot of actions just to get that one room, that one tile. So there is the option of that. Or do I go somewhere else? Or do I re-roll all these ones? All of a sudden I've rolled 5 1s. Oh, Yeah, am I going to waste those 5 ones on that one room? No, you're not. You can divide your actions up. So if you do have, say, for example, 5 ones, you can do a bid on a room tile. You can put them in the auction for the advertising, and then you can also do the tour with them. So you can split your actions, which is nice. You've got this choice on your turn to not just do one action here, one action here, or one action here. You can spread them out however you wish. And you're going to be wanting to do this due to the fact that other players are going to be, putting their fingers in these honeypots everywhere, and you don't know where they're going to go. You don't know what they really want, what their real intention is, and so you're going to need to keep your options open. So let's talk about the advertising. The advertising is an interesting area because it will allow you to score points as well as unlock extra dice which you can use. And there's nothing better than having a few more actions. As any kind of worker placement game, you'll know, unlock the worker at the beginning of the game gives you that advantage over the other players, for example. But the way that you win first place in the advertising is a little bit different. You can use any value dice that you want, but they all have to be the same value. And it's the number of dice which will win first prize. So whoever lays 3 dice first will be first. And then if anyone else lays 3 dice, they will be second. And if someone else lays 3 dice, they will be in the last place. And obviously a 4th player would also be in last place. The only way to break this and jump ahead is to actually have a 4th dice of the same value, which would put you in front of everybody else. The other exception to this rule is the value of the dice. If you have a higher value dice than your opponent who has the same amount of dice, your dice will go in front of theirs. So what do you unlock? If you're in first place, you get to move your house 2 spaces to the right, and you score twice the amount of points instantly. You'll also move your dice on the right to the left a number of times depending on how many dice you used in the advertising space. If at any time the house and the dice touch each other, you unlock that dice and you can use it in future rounds. And obviously there's 2 dice here, so you can only move 1 at a time closer to your house, or your house closer to the dice. Now, if you miss out, you're not going to really miss out. And again, same for the rooms. You're not going to miss out. If someone else wins the room, you actually get some inspiration tokens. In this case, if you're last or 3rd or 4th in the 4-player game, you're going to get inspiration token, and you're also going to get to move your dice closer to your house still. So there is some compensation. So you may have put a load of dice in, but the value of them weren't that good. You're still going to get something. Now, saying that, investing at the beginning of the game in the advertising doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to win the game, and unlocking the dice extra in advance, again, doesn't mean you're going to win the game. Your point tracker is going to go boom up pretty quickly, but at the end of the game, when those final scorings come in, sometimes you'll find yourself being left behind because you didn't work on other key elements. And so you have to really think about what you're doing, where you're going to invest your dice. Finally, you have the touring of your mansion. Now, as I said, the first round, you're not going to have anything apart from the hallway. And so you're not going to get really much of a compensation for spending a dice there, apart from an inspiration token. But during the course of the game, as you build out your house, you're going to start wanting to do tours. Now, a tour works basically like a real tour. You're going to start in your hallway where you can put any value dice that you want. But any adjacent rooms, you're going to need to place after you've been to the hallway. So if your mansion branches out in different directions, you can either go that way or that way on your next tour. But if it's going in one direction, you're going to have to do the next room next to it before you do the room afterwards. And again, if the values are the same and clumped together, this makes it easier on your turn to put many dice out at the same time and score lots of points. And there you go. That is basically the rules. After 4 rounds of that have been happening, where you roll your dice until you've exhausted your dice, there's a bonus 5th round where you just primarily do the tour of your mansion. And every player is going to do this at the same time. Anytime that you can't place a dice, you have to remove it as an unhappy guest, and that's going to give you some negativity points at the end of the game as well, unfortunately. So you have to build a good house and have a good roll, and hopefully you know, you have those debates of like, should I be using these inspiration tokens or should I save them because they're worth points at the end of the game as well. There's loads of extra bonus scoring at the end of the game, as on the reference sheet it says. You're going to get extra points if you have the most, well, not the most, if you have 4 or more of a particular type of room, you're going to get extra points. If you have your largest mana, you're going to get extra points. If you have a lot of excess inspiration tokens, you're going to get a point for every 2 of those that you have. And then you're also going to get bonus points if you have the most of each of the 4 colored rooms. Simple as that. Player at the end of the game wins the game. So things that I like about this game is the simplicity. It is pretty much simple. You're rolling dice, and then, as I said, they become workers, and you have to debate whether you're going to use them here or there and everywhere. And it's nice. This game has plenty of options, and again, it's a very, very simple rule. And again, it's a game which doesn't last too long to become annoying in that space of time. You play it once, and it's about 40 minutes. And even if you didn't understand some of the concepts, maybe like the advertising or the touring, on your next time that you play, you'll go, right, okay, I do understand why that's like that and how I can, you know, get a better score next time. So that's a great thing about the game, the short play time and the simplicity, which leads to let's play again immediately afterwards. Game comes with 4 handy dandy reference cards, which on one side tell you what to do on your turn and tells you how to score points at the end of a round and at the end of the game. Components wise, pretty sturdy, good stuff, although the color palette, I can see the theme with the main board being blueprinter-ish kind of thing, but you know, it doesn't have like this wonderful glorious table presence until you start building these massive tiled rooms and manors, which are colorful. They're nice and colorful. That's kind of colorless. The color palette for the dice is unusual, but I see why they did it, so you wouldn't get it confused with the 4 primary colors. Well, there's not 4 primary colors, but there's 3 primary colors in the world, but the 4 main colors of the games for the rooms. So yeah, the color palette is and table presence is, but it doesn't detract from the game too much. The scoreboard has this lovely recessed aspect to it, which is great for putting 1 cube in so it doesn't get knocked. But as soon as 2 players have the same value, of course, the cube on top is going to fall off. But this is something which is probably going to be revised in the next edition, where it's like more Lego-ish, a bit like what Arcane Wonders have done with their Foundations of Rome, made some Lego scoring so they sit on top of each other and they don't move. The game has plenty of options, even though you're all just doing the same thing, trying to build the biggest and best house, manor, possible with your dice. There's lots of different ways you can, you know, mitigate your luck with the dice, with your tokens, and you're never gonna get nothing, even if you lose. Now, my only kind of real big niggle with the game is that it's not fun with 2 players, because you're basically just going, oh, well, they've gone there, I'm not going to use that dice there, I'm going to go here. And you can basically just win a lot of tiles with just 1 dice, so you get a lot more oomph for your money with a 2-player game in regards to collecting room tiles and stuff. It does become competitive that way, because you are just basically cutting the cake in half. They're going there, I'm going to go here. They're going there, I'm going to go here. And that's it. But with a 4-player game is where it really shines, because then there's the competitiveness and the interaction is a lot more intense. You know, people are like pissed off with you, keep trying to outbid them on rooms. And that's where some of the humor comes and some of the fun and the challenge comes from, you know, trying to figure out what your other opponents are trying to go for. Are they going just mainly to get the most red and green rooms, or are they just trying to get the largest house by bidding the least on each room? Or are they just trying to unlock their dice quickly to get lots of points from the advertising, which is another kind of good way to get there. But at the end of the day, it's the bonus scoring which is going to count the most. I kind of wish there was something more to it. There was more to the room tiles, and they did special things or special actions. I kind of wish there were more room tiles. There's only like 4 of the larger room tiles, and that lasts for the 4 rounds. But hey ho, it is what it is. It does work as a compact, solid game. So no problems there. This is a good time, even if you do play it just the once. Would I rather play this than Vegas? Yes, I would. Vegas was kind of like themeless and pointless, and it was just a fun time. But this adds a bit more purpose, where you're actually thinking about your construction, planning on doing this and the other, and letting the other players piss on you, so to speak, and then just trying to adapt with the dice rolls that you have, seeing what the other players are doing and adapting to what they're doing. Those two are just fighting it out for themselves about that room, so I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to go over here and, you know, kind of sneaky behind the scenes thing. But yeah, there's enough fun and pleasure in this small game to warrant playing it a few times. There you go. There's my first impressions of before you buy for the Dice Manor. You can find this wherever you can find it. If you've liked this video, enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you know someone that this game might interest, please share this video with them. And obviously check out other videos, not just my video, of this game, because we all have different viewpoints on life in general, basically. So I'll say thank you. Thank you for watching this video to the end, and I'll see you next time. And please play nicely with each other.
Just sitting at the table.